time is now. The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
You can't read somebody else's book about some theory on how to do shit. Some guy who sat up in their nice warm office and wrote some book with a nice cup of coffee in the fucking hand. No, I want to see that guy who immersed himself in fucking hell. And he thought about quitting and leaving and his wife and his kids. And why am I here? Is it worth it? All this crazy shit. And found out a way to get through it.
He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
I was willing to die doing something that I love. So if you're willing to die to do something that you love, 99% of the time you're gonna come out on top.
I don't let people tell me what I can and can't do. It won't happen. Don't do this, don't do that. Okay, whatever. Like, it don't matter what they say. Whatever you believe, you go for it. And you gotta understand, before you succeed, you must first learn to fail. Like, if you fail 1 or 2 times and you stop pursuing your dream, you ain't ready anyway.
You know, a lot of us are going through a hard time in life. Some people are being bullied. Some people are just stressed out. Some people are insecure. Some people are fat and overweight. And the world puts a lot of this shit in your mind. It's not just you. Yeah, you help it. And my whole thing is about, I had to develop a mindset that was indestructible. I had to armor plate my mind.
When you have nothing is when you need to give. You know, if you're gonna wait till you think you have something, you're never gonna have something of any size or scope. There's something inside the human psyche that when you do what's right and you get outside of yourself, there's something that'll click for you.
Learn to work with the people who deserve it, not the people who need it. Because that's the way life works. Life doesn't respond to what we need. Life responds to what we deserve. It doesn't say if you need a harvest, you'll get one. It says, no, if you plant in the spring, you'll get a harvest in the fall.
Life, people emulate the end result, not the process. The end result is what they see and they emulate that. Before Kobe scored that 61, that day he was practicing. Practice his whole life. Are you willing to put in that sort of commitment? Are you willing to practice your whole life?
The world's tough. We are training kids and people to be soft in a world that continuously gets harder. You have to build a person that can withstand the pressures of whatever they're going to be dealing with in life. And we don't do that.
How many times in your life have you gone through something you thought you wasn't gonna make it? What you have to do is to be steady in the storm. If you're steady, you're gonna outlast it. If you're steady, you're gonna outlive it. If you're not steady, it's only because you don't have the faith to believe that there's something on the other side of it.
Better have a part about you that's tough, a part about you that can break down situations and get better. The devastation, the trauma is going to come, and you can't allow that to become a Jersey barrier. It can't be a Jersey barrier. It has to be something that you can maneuver through very quickly and move forward. That takes a lot of toughness. You got to shut off technology. Go to that dark place. I call it the dark room, where you're alone. No cell phones, no music, no TVs, no computers. You by yourself. Very few people want to be alone anymore. They want to be around noise and people, and you can't think. Shut life off for a little bit. Go to a dark place in your mind and figure out what the f you want to be. You don't know what you want to be because you haven't spent time, real time with yourself. Spend time with yourself. And once you find that passion and that purpose, your goals, your purpose, everything will just start lining up.
And I'm wondering if there are things echoing in your head right now that are stopping you from living your best life because you will not silence them by speaking back. You shall have whatever you say.
Discipline is your best friend. It will take care of you like nothing else can. It will put you on that path, the path to strength and health and intelligence and happiness.
I don't care how good you are in anything, you don't have discipline, you ain't nobody. You're nothing without discipline. Because you give up on the slightest struggle without discipline. Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
What if the truth is that changing your life is one away? One decision, one meeting, one conversation, one extra phone call, one extra rep in the gym. You start stacking up those one mores. That's the separator. In life, we don't get our goals. We get our standards.
Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself, and don't be afraid to be different, man. You ain't got to fit in the crowd. I tell my sons all the time, why are you following everybody when you were clearly meant to lead?
People that don't have their own visions, they become vision killers. They want nothing more than to talk you out of your own visions. They don't have dreams for themselves. They don't have any hopes. They're hopeless. They're uninspired, unmotivated. They have no dreams. They have nothing that they're ambitious about.
I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
I hate plan B. Every thought that you put into plan B, you're taking away now that thought and that energy from plan A. I've never ever had a plan B.
Lazy people do a little work and think they should be winning, but winners work as hard as possible and still worry if you're being lazy.
The reason most people fail is because they give up what they want most for what they want now.
But like I always say, life is 10% what happens to you, is 90% what you do about it. The first step is getting completely and brutally honest enough to say, I am tired of myself. When you say I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's the facilitator of change. That's when you're ready to say these words, no more excuses. You have to start living your life in expectation. You have got to start expecting great things to happen for you in order for it to happen. If you live your life in expectations, that's what happens to you. If you live your life in despair, that's what happens to you. The moment you change the frequency that your tower emits, different things come back to you. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude.
You will have good days and you'll have bad days, but you will always learn something more or something new, and you will learn more overall on bad days than good days.